So Jackie, kind of give me some background on yourself. Are you from Asheville? Kind of how did you end up here at APD?
Well, I'm from Henderson County, born and raised. Went off to Western Carolina University, played basketball there. And, I ended up in Asheville, particularly the police department, because it's where I always wanted to work. I could have went home, I could have went to Hendersonville and applied there, but Asheville was and in my opinion still is, the premier law enforcement agency. And that's where I wanted to be. So this is the only agency I ever applied for, and this is where I'll spend my career.
Awesome. So what year did you get to the department?
I started in 2005, and I was fortunate enough to be part of our first in-house BLET program. So super grateful for that opportunity, and now here we are circling back and have brought it back this year.
Awesome. Yeah. So since 2005, what have your roles looked like here at the department?
Well, after BLET, I went to patrol, where I quickly realized kind of what my passion was and why I was here, why I was serving, and that was community. I just developed a quick passion for community, problem solving, building those relationships, really building trust in the community. So from there, I went to community resource officer, and then really just moved into the rank, right? Sergeant, lieutenant, captain, deputy chief, and I've served in just about every corner in various leadership roles throughout the department.
And you failed to mention you're the first female deputy chief here, which is exciting. And I know now there's been one female chief before now. So, as a woman, I love seeing other women in leadership roles. I think it's really exciting, and it's just exciting. So being in this position as a woman, what does it mean to you?
Oh gosh, most importantly, I'm just so honored, to lead this agency. But for me, it's not really about the first or the second. It's just about the opportunity to serve the men and women and the community in a new way.
So you've been here for a long time. Obviously, we're here when Chief Lamb was here. What part of his legacy do you want to keep going?
Wow, when you think about Chief Lamb, you can't help but think about just the person that he brings to policing. He's just such an incredible person. But for me, what always stood out from day one, because he was a PT instructor. He did my physical training in BLET, so we've known each other throughout our whole career, and such a great friend. But what comes to mind is compassion, and the compassion that he brought, not only internally for the police officers here. He cared about them, but he cares about the community. So for me, the compassion will carry on. I think he's instilled that. He set those expectations out, treating people with dignity and respect. And I'm very fortunate to fall, behind Chief Lamb, where we have a shared vision of community and believe that the foundation of policing is built on those relationships that are built out in the community.
And what are some, oh my gosh, Cora, is it Cora? And what are some maybe new ideas that you're hoping to bring to the table?
Well, when I think of new ideas, I want to continue to bring innovation. I want to continue to modernize our operations through technology, data-driven policing, and really best practice policing.
So looking back on this year, 2025 saw the lowest total in violent crime, which is great. What are your plans to hopefully keep that trend going?
Well, I think you can see, if you look back even from 2020, if you look at the numbers in our officer proactivity, which means officers out on the street, being visible, deterring criminal activity, getting out, getting to know the community, there's a direct correlation, because in 2020 we had the mass resignations, and what you saw was the proactivity go down, and then that's when you saw violent crime and crime in general go up, particularly with a spike in 2022. But since then, 2023, 2024, and even now 2025, with us being able to kind of restaff, we've seen officer proactivity go up, and that's why our crime continues to go down. There's a direct correlation in that. So that has to continue to be our focus, is to rebuild, restaff the department so that we can get out there and make a difference in our community.
And then I want to touch on too, like you're talking about the mass resignation in 2020, and since then, like you said, you guys have really worked to restaff the department. I know recruitment is up. How do you plan to keep that going and keep people wanting to be a part of APD?
Well, I think that's all about the culture, and we've got a great culture here. The recent compensation plan, our city council continues to support the police department. I think that's important, the community support that we're able to have now versus back in 2020. I think we've really came a long way in restaffing. I think we just have to continue to instill the culture of APD, and I think we're able to do that through our in-house academies. We have 21 in our academy now. We're looking to have at least 15 in our next academy, and that will allow us to put officers in the street and open up opportunities for officers, whether it be through specialty teams. The more we staff, the more opportunities it provides to the officers. So I think they're excited about recruitment, we're excited about restaffing, and it all makes a big difference in how we operate as a police department.
So as we get ready to wrap up this year, what are you most proud of the department's done? What are you most proud of that you've seen throughout our city that you guys have really brought about changes to? What are you kind of ending the year with?
Oh man, I end the year just as always with such great pride. I am fortunate as the interim chief internally to know firsthand the dedication and professionalism that define our department. And I take such great pride in that. I think the citizens hold us and have high expectations, but internally we have higher expectations of ourselves. And I take just such great pride in that. Seeing the officers show up every day. When you think about the last year, you can't help but think about the hurricane. And just seeing the officers come together, show up every day, the resilience that they've brought and continue to bring every day. I just take really great pride in the men and women that I work alongside.
And so looking ahead to 2026, what are some things that the department will be focusing on?
Well, my job as an interim chief, is to recognize that leadership transitions can bring uncertainty. So most importantly, what I want the community, what I want the department to know is our commitment to each other and our commitment to the community remains unchanged. I think what we'll continue to focus on is the proactivity, strengthening our relationships in the community, focusing on continuing to reduce that violent crime, and then leverage technology, leverage our partnerships with our state, local, and federal partners, and then just continue to move the department forward.
And so I know the question that I'm wondering, we are all wondering, are you hoping this will become a permanent position?
Yeah, I'm super excited about the opportunity to serve now as an interim role, and I think right now my priority is to focus on where we are. My priority is to move the agency forward, to provide some stability, and really have a positive impact on the department and on the community, regardless of what's next.